Hi everybody, it's Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art, and I thought I'd share making this card with you today. I hope you're doing well. It's going to be with the Bethlehem silhouette from the Oh Holy Nights collection from Heartfelt Creations. Now this stencil comes from Clarity, and where I have the Distress Oxides and the Heartfelt Creations and the glues and things, I have those at the HuckleberryHerbs.com. I don't sell Clarity only because I try my hardest to stick to American companies in my store, but I love Clarity and I've often thought of selling their products. So this wonderful arched window is one of their stencils, and the brush, oh my goodness, I love their brush set. Now I could have used my usual tools for getting this paint on or this ink on, but this brush creates such a wonderful easy wispy transition from dark to light that I knew it would be perfect for what I was going for. So I'm using some Salty Ocean Distress Oxide. Love my Distress Oxide inks as well, and I'm just trying to create an idea of more light in the center. So I'm focusing on the edges of the arched window, and I'll have a little bit of the color on the center, but really it's the whole purpose is to create a glowing effect from the center of this silhouette or this stencil. So I'm going to come back and use the faded jeans I think I have here. It created at least up in the sky, where I wanted a little bit more of a just after dusk sort of color when the sun has definitely gone down, but you can still see some blue in the sky. And so I'm not going to be using it on the very bottom of the stencil, but I am trying to get it to be darker in the sky area by just going over those tops and a little bit on the sides. And again, being very careful to not pull the brush too much into the center, causing myself issues with having to blend further. And keeping that glow, I'm going to be putting a star there, and I want it to seem as though the star is glowing. I love pulling the stencil off, don't you? And revealing what it looks like once it's done. So there it is. There's the start to the card. And it's going to take me just a few more steps, but it actually took me a long time. So from the Oh Holy Night, here's this Bethlehem silhouette. And I wish I had thought about this before. I made a few versions of this, and you'd think I would catch on. But it was just a little bit not exactly the same size as the window and came over the edge. Now what I'm doing here is I'm going to be using the Stays On ink, the Midnight Blue. I didn't want it to have a stark difference between the blues that I was using and the actual silhouette, so I thought this would be a good match. And I don't want it to mess with the ink, because if you activate Distress Oxide inks, you'll have all kinds of other things that I wasn't looking for going on. So I'm inking this up on my Tim Holtz stamp press. I have at least one of these in the store too. I love this thing. So I'm covering the star because I actually don't want the star to be down that low. And I'm just using some sticky pad paper so that any ink that got on the star will not transfer over to the card. There you go. See me trying to fix this? Now I'm going to end up having to come back with another solution, but I did try doing it by actually taking a brush and using the ink, and I just couldn't get it right. So I should have thought of this ahead of time. You won't make that mistake, I'm sure. So a little powder, for those of you that have never embossed, will keep the static problem from spreading your embossing powder into places where you do not want it to melt and become permanent. And I'm going to use my Versamark here and just get the star sticky. Back with the sticky pads, right? I got to put some papers any place where the ink might have touched. I could spend some time cleaning it off, but then if your stamp is a little wet, again, you don't want to get it on the Distress Oxide inks. So I'm going to put the Versamark here up higher and separate the silhouette from the star so that I could get it more towards the top into the sky and create that glow, because of course this scene is about what's happening on earth that came from heaven, right? So I wanted the glow to be above Bethlehem, as though it was coming from Bethlehem, but definitely coming from the idea of from the heavens and from this star, this famous star. So here I am putting some white embossing powder on, and I'm going to go back and heat that up. It did not come out perfect on this card. As I said, I did a few of these, but I did want, imperfections included, to have it at least be a little brighter. And I didn't have any really good full white sparkle embossing powder on hand. I had ones that are a little off-white or champagne. So I'm going to do one of those tricks that, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. I'm going to re-emboss, and I'm going to put the box right underneath where I'm going to be working. All of this is very chancy. I don't normally try to do this. And as soon as I get that embossing powder on and I get it heated up, I'm going to head over to my glitz and see if I can get my sparkle on right while the plastic, because that's what embossing powder does. It's melted and it's plastic. Well, for a few seconds, it's really still hot. As a matter of fact, be very careful not to touch it. So I'm going to try to use the heat and the fact that it's still fluid to put my sparkle on. So I have this with my little spoon, and there we go. There goes all my sparkle. Didn't work perfectly, but it can be done. It's just that you have to be so fast. I always find myself knocking things over trying. But in this case, I did want to at least give it a shot at getting some sparkle on the star. So there we go. I have my star done, my silhouette done, and I could have stopped there. Maybe I should have. But for some reason on this particular day, I was having trouble deciding how to get to what I pictured. And I didn't want to have all that empty space. I couldn't find the right frame at the moment. You know how things just don't click sometimes. So I came back with the two angels that are also in the Holy Night set. And I'm going to Versamark those up. And I'm going to do those in black and add a little bit more interest to the upper portion of the car without having to go to the trouble of finding frames. I didn't want to put flowers all over this thing. I wanted it to stay right to the point, very simple, very clean. And I thought the angels would be a nice touch, emphasizing the whole point of the card. So I have my angels embossed, and now I'm just using this blue cardstock as a mat, and I'm going to lay the card down on top of it. As you can still see, I still have those issues down at the bottom, but I'll show you what I do to fix those, because the inking thing just did not work. That was not a perfect match to solve the problem. So there it is with the angels at the top, and again, you would think, good, done. It's if you're keeping it simple, but I'm looking for more sparkle still. I just can't help myself. I'm always looking for sparkle. So on one of the cards, I tried my Perfect Pearls. I was not pleased with it. I tried Perfect Pearls and then put sparkle over it, and as you can see, it was starting to make a mess. Oh well, ideas not thought through ahead of time. So I'm taking my art glitter glue and the fine tip, and I took that piece of paper just to press it so I didn't have lumps. I didn't want to make snow. I just wanted to sparkle up my little angels here. And I'm just brushing off any place where it might have gone over the embossing and made it not so perfect. And there you go. I've got some sparkle at least on the angels, which as you can see doesn't stick out enormously like the Perfect Pearls did. The blue color just didn't even match. I'm using Christmas Blessings, and that actually came from the Winter's Eve collection from Heartfelt Creations. I never got a chance to play with that one that has the window and the little girl and the fireplace and all the pretty pinks and stuff, and I think I'm going to be digging that out this year to make some Christmas cards. But essentially, that's it. Now I have my angel sparkled and my star, my silhouette, and a nice little sentiment down at the bottom. But look, on the right, it's still there. Yep, no. I didn't want to have to put anything in a fourth place because I'm trying to stick to that threes thing, but a little bow. Alright, hope you enjoyed watching this. Till next time, this is Kathy from Huckleberry Herbs and Art. God bless.
won't